Hello, this is Mama Spring Chicken. Yes, you see me sporting, what is it? The flag today, because today happens to be December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, where we give remembrance to many people that have lost their lives, so we can continue on. So we're going to bring Oldecam on. Oh yes, don't worry. The rest of the news is a little more upbeat. But today's the day that we do honor the people from Pearl Harbor. So we're going to bring Oldecam on with comments on the headlines of today.
Kathy Griffin basically got booed off the stage almost at the Marine base this weekend. They forgot to mention to her when she was attacking Sarah Palin, Bristol Palin, that Sarah Palin's son and Bristol's brother happened to be a Marine.
And she was probably talking to the Marines?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
No, basically they would have stoned her if she didn't bring out, actually she brought out the Chavette, Snooki, and then the situation. They got her out of trouble. Yeah,
I mean...
well, he's got his Marine Corps buzz cut, and he's got the... But she basically is fat. There's no way to call it. I mean, I heard him say last night. Now, she said, why is it everybody's attracted to the fat one? Yeah.
Because she puts on those heels and tries to look sexy. Well, you know what? She got inspiration from Kim Kardashian.
Ooh, there's a cell phone.
I know. It's like, put the cell phone in the other room. But Obama gives in to Republican demands, and it only adds $150 billion more.
Yeah, $150 billion more to the deficit. Did anybody think that Obama couldn't get a spending measure passed, folks? I mean, that's all. I mean, you got Republicans, you got Susan Collins and Olympia Snowe will pass virtually anything that spends money. You know, first of all, you don't have to worry about it because they said this is the Republicans' roadrunner moment. They actually believed this man actually intended to live up to any of that. He knew full well that the House representative was going to stand against it because they said, well, we intend to pass the good parts of the bill legislation. They were going to pass the part where there, you know, the no taxes increase for anybody over under $250,000, and the 13-month extension of unemployment, and the tax credits for hiring people, and this and that. But we're not going to pass for over $250,000, and it's not going to happen. But they actually believed that he was serious. I mean, I saw a couple of the pundits last night that said, basically, Obama, you know, John Boehner and them walked the plank last night. And they, you know, once again, they bought into this man's, you know, I'm for the people.
You know,
he sat there and did nothing but attack the Republicans for 10 minutes.
You know,
I mean, it's stupid. I mean, they just.
I think the Republicans are just as delusional because, you know, maybe they thought with the election he might change, whatever. But it's like...
Okay, what he did was they gave him his election moment to say, well, I tried to stand up against Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. He knows Pelosi and Reid he should not have campaigned for. If they'd have been gone, he would have basically been better off. But since he doesn't actually want to do any running of the government, he's stuck.
Yeah, and the Republicans, it's like, all I can say is, duh.
Well, they do the same thing. The guy has never done anything bipartisan in his life. When you spend 10 minutes of a 10-minute speech condemning the Republican Party as being the party of spending, of being a party of wasting, of forcing this upon the American people that can't afford it. Well, first of all, they're not forcing anything. Like as some of the people did try to point out, it's their money they're trying to take from them. Mm-hmm. It's an increase in taxes, it's not a decrease in taxes. If they leave it alone, it doesn't do anything to the budget because it's not on the budget.
Mm-hmm. And Gore's empire is starting to fall apart.
Oh yeah, he's down to 7 regional offices now.
What?
Well, he's not, okay, his cap and trade stuff has basically died in every country in the world. He can't get a Congress controlled by the Democrats to pass it. And he intended to make billions of dollars running cap and trade, which the United Nations also has said was nothing but a joke.
Well, he's already made billions of dollars.
Well, actually, so he's getting a Doris and she got a clipping for so much money.
Oh, yeah, tip her, huh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
she also knows where the
the
bodies are buried, so...
He'll pay up.
Yeah.
And they've been married for a very long time.
Yeah, she knows everything about him, so he's gonna lose. It's probably gonna be the biggest divorce settlement in history. Well, he's already...
that's true. It's gonna be huge.
His empire is crumbling. His current TV is basically now running movies. It's becoming a glorified left-wing movie channel now.
Well, from us, our experience, that is not a surprise.
That's right.
Because we were with them several years ago.
They didn't pay either, but then nobody pays like they're supposed to. So.
Dozens injured in Easter Island land disputes.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of land on Easter Island, so basically this one family against another family. I mean, there's no trees left on the island except what people have brought in. The weather sucks. I don't know why anybody would want to stay there. It's like Pitcairn Island, except a little bit more civilized.
And Obama warns of new Sputnik moment for America.
Oh, this guy, he said, if we don't provide money for the infrastructure, we must hire new teachers, we must build new schools. Well, they hired the teachers, they built the school. The more money they spent, the worse the educational system got, because what happened is you get tenured teachers that you can't fire that are no good. There used to be teachers taught because teachers enjoyed teaching. Now, as if you can't do anything else, you become a teacher. And
they get paid pretty well for it.
Oh, no matter what these people say. I mean, I was once offered $100 an hour to be a substitute teacher. $100 an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
You should have taken it.
And they said, well, you can work 50 hours a week.
Really?
Yeah. And they said you don't even have to come to classes.
Well, that's pretty good.
Well, it's because you're $100 an hour standby in case they need somebody. But you're being paid. You're going to be paid even if you didn't show up. If they didn't need you, you still get the $100 an hour.
How do we volunteer for that one?
They got lots of volunteers for that.
WikiLeaks founder Assange may surrender to British police.
Well, he did, and then they denied him bail, which he didn't think would happen. But don't worry, he has important members of Congress, important members in the acting community, and world leaders that are behind him, his rights to destroy the world. Well, they all tend to be socialists, but then that's normal.
Microbe found that can use arsenic as a nutrient.
Well, because, okay, arsenic is basically something that is in nature, and there's always something in nature that can eat something in nature, other than microbes that eat oil. Because oil isn't something that is naturally produced, it's the end result of really rotting stuff.
Taxpayers will make $12 billion on Citigroup bailout.
No, what they made a mistake. Obama meant to say they're going to make $100 trillion off of the bailout. Therefore, every penny he spent has been made up, and I have saved the economy of the world.
How did we miss that?
Well, because you got to remember, he's the one that makes up the figures. They haven't repaid the bloody money. Nobody is repaying the money. And that's why he controls the banks, is because they're not accepting the money to being repaid. You know, if they accepted repayment, then the banks would be out of their control.
That's true.
That's right.
And politicians are actually starting to read Obamacare and finding out what they voted for and don't like it.
Isn't that amazing? Well, we didn't realize that you were going to end bake sales in schools. We didn't realize that you were going to ban, you know, they feel that, you know, one of the rules, one of the things is...
Did they actually specify bake sales?
Yeah, it's bake sales. They didn't realize that instead of buying candy and stuff at schools, you have to buy, they want to have the, you know, sales of things that are healthier than them, you know, carrots and celery sticks instead of candy sales, which they figured they're going to, well, you're really going to bring in a lot of money buying carrots and candy sticks. Wait, what a policeman want. Overweight police officer jogging down the thing with a swagger stick. That's a police officer that's in trouble.
Yep. In Mayan village in Mexico impacted by climate change.
Okay, Al Gore is trying to point out, well, climate change caused this village to be destroyed. No, they cut down all the trees and it turned into a floodplain, and therefore that had nothing to do with climate change, because of a few thousand people in an area can't change the climate. All they did was they just cut the trees, the ground changed, and then the trees grew back again after they moved on. That's not climate change, folks. That's just stupidity.
And Supreme Court will consider a huge Walmart sex bias lawsuit.
Well, they'll throw it out because the Walmart is ran by women. It's owned by women. It's ran by women. When it's owned by women and it's ran by women, it's hard to bias. That's the problem, because what it is a glass ceiling created by women. Women have this nasty habit of not wanting women to move up the ladder because they got there, they have no intentions of leaving. So you basically make it more difficult. But when the company is owned by women, ran by women, you have no chance of that ever winning. Plus, they said the fact that they should not have been filed like that because there was like 6 disgruntled women filing for every woman that works for Walmart. That's not, it can't be done.
And Android Army closes in on the iPhone.
Well, yeah, because they said first of all, Google has more money than Apple does. And they have a bigger reach than Apple does, so it makes it easier for them. And they also have a developer program, which they'll provide you the system to develop the apps, and they tend to accept more apps than does Apple, and they also tend to accept more apps that are bad than Apple. So.
And a Monty Bubbleism from the Mark Twain of the Animal Kingdom.
Basically, if you give a batter 5 strikes at any time of the plate, it's obvious you're either a Republican or a conservative pundit.